Let's welcome in the Powerhouse panel on this Thursday morning. We start with senior contributor at the Federalist, Benjamin Weingarten, back with us. National Advisory Board member for Project 21, Christopher Arps, is here, and the co-host of Wake Up America Weekend, Allison Maloney. Rochelle Walensky, she still runs the CDC. She was talking about masks yesterday. Apparently, you follow the science. They seem to follow whatever the administration wants them to do, but apparently they could be loosening mask regulations as early as next week. Take a listen.
We want to give people a break from things like mask wearing when these metrics are better, and then have the ability to reach for them again should things worsen. If and when we update our guidance, we will communicate that clearly, and it will be based on the data and the science. However, it's also important to remember, regardless of the level of disease burden in your community, there are still very important times to continue to wear your mask.
So I liked what she initially said. They're thinking about lifting some of the mandates that have been in place now for 3 school years, by the way. 3 parts of 3 school years now, 2 full calendar years. But putting the mask on the shelf, Benjamin, the point is that people need to be able to make their own decisions despite what the CDC says, because the virus is not going away. Guess what? It's gonna be March soon. We'll get to summer in the Northeast, and then next fall we'll start to see an uptick in cases. There'll be some new foolish variant that people start coming down with. At that time, isn't it time for people, regardless of politics, to make the choice that's best for them and their families?
It's been that time for over 2 years now. I'm so thankful that Rochelle Walensky is giving us a break. That's really scientific and just so generous of our ruling class. It's like, and we've seen other quotes from our leaders talking about how, we're going to give you your life back. Well, you never had our lives, or you should never have had our lives,
right,
if we're a free people. And the bottom line is the science on masks is a total rebuke of what the administration is saying. The cloth masks are basically useless as shown by a whole slew of studies, and that the administration continues this charade is laughable. It's mask theater, it's virtue signaling, and they ought to be upfront and honest with the American people, but they can't be, they have not been for more than 2 years, because they can't give up this control that they have. And that's why you have her hedging while the entire political class goes against her, because everyone knows this is a charade. And if people want to triple mask for the rest of their lives,
do it.
Go ahead and do it.
Do it. That's great.
But normal Americans who have looked at the science, we can make decisions for ourselves.
Okay. So, Allison, Glenn Youngkin yesterday, by the way, elections have consequences. He was elected governor of Virginia in November, and he's doing exactly what he said he would do if he were elected. He got rid of the mask mandate. He signed it into law yesterday. Mandates in the state of Virginia are illegal. If you want your son or daughter to wear a mask at school, by all means, have them wear a mask. But I thought this was interesting. So that happens yesterday. Glenn Youngkin signs that bill into law. Morning Consult comes out with a poll yesterday. The question, should states drop mask mandates? I was surprised by this. 49% yes, 43% no. Are you surprised it's not higher in the yes category?
I am. I'm surprised because a lot of people, this isn't politics. This is about parenting, especially when it comes to kids and wearing masks in school. And look, we just saw what happened in San Francisco. 3 school board members, they were recalled because parents felt that they were putting, politics in control before the kids. 70% of people recalled them. San Francisco is a very, very liberal city. So for this to happen, I think this is just kind of showing that parents are done, people are done, even Democrats. So that poll really surprises me. And look, there was a young girl in New Jersey who was taken out of school because she was wearing a mask or not wearing a mask. They asked her to put it on. She politely said, no, I would like to, not wear a mask. They sent her to the principal's office. She was sent home. She then wrote a letter to Governor Murphy saying, please don't make us wear masks anymore. I'm not learning. I don't like it. I mean, this is what our kids are dealing with. It's ridiculous. And why, once they took the mask mandates off, why are they saying, well, in next month or in a couple of weeks? Why not now?
Yeah, why not now? If we are in fact following the science, cases are down more than 95% nationally. In some places, it's like 97, 98% since last month. Yeah. Omicron is now a thing of the past in most communities. Interesting, Chris, 14% of people surveyed in that same poll. I thought this was interesting. 14% said that masks and the mandates never should have been imposed. It's a pretty good sized number.
Yeah, it is a pretty good size number. You know, we've been dealing with this pandemic for 3 years now. We've heard at the beginning that masks don't work. We then hear that masks do work. Numerous studies have come out, has been cited that shows that masks are ineffective. The American people want to move on with their lives and turn this into an endemic instead of a pandemic. This is something that we have to live with.
Yeah, I just think parents, again, regardless of politics, should be able to decide what's best for their kids, not some politician, not Rochelle Walensky down in Atlanta, Georgia. And I think, Benjamin, to your point, the exodus in the Democratic Party. Just yesterday afternoon, we learned Kathleen Rose, Congresswoman from the state of New York, she now becomes the 30th House Democrat to announce that they will not seek re-election on November 8th. That's a record, and it's only February. How bad is this going to get?
Yeah, the science, I put that in air quotes, has not changed. The politics are what has changed, period, full stop. And, you know, to the point about it's parents who ought to make decisions for their children, and there's all sorts of studies, which administration officials never acknowledge, showing the developmental disaster that has transpired as a consequence of masking kids. It's horrible to have to do it. There's also, remember, Terry McAuliffe said, essentially, why should parents have control over their children's curriculum? Why do they have any control over their kids' education? And that gives away the game. These leaders think that they are our rulers and that they ought to have control over every aspect of our life. And thankfully, Americans do seem to be rejecting that in droves. And I hope they do at the ballot box in the midterm election.
Yeah, just quick follow-up, Benjamin, and then I want to move on. Do you think masks are a part of the midterm elections? Are we over this come next November, or is this still a key issue?
I don't think that Democrats in the bluest of blue states are going to fully give this up. I think it's still going to be an issue, and people have to be held accountable for imposing this.
Yeah, I wonder how the political calculus will play a role, too, because it's clearly people are upset about it. Yeah, Chris, go ahead.
One quick thing about these retirements. I think the retirements show that the Democrats know that they're going to lose in November, but I think all these retirements also show that they're not going to be in the majority anytime soon either.
Yeah, they don't want to be embarrassed. I mean, Allison, 30 Democrats in the House have announced they're retiring. Here we are, middle of February. Today's the 17th. I mean, this could be, that's the most we've ever seen.
I think we're going to see more.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, I want to introduce you someone who I think could be the next prime minister to our north in Canada. Justin Trudeau, at one point, was hugely popular. It just seems like he's way out of touch with the Canadian people. Melissa Lantsman, you will hear her name, I'm sure, throughout the week. But here is Melissa Lantsman. She's a member of the Conservative Party up in Canada, and she's speaking in the House of Commons yesterday in response to some comments that Justin Trudeau made, basically likening people that support the truckers in Ottawa to Nazis. Take a listen.
Optimistic, hopeful vision for public life isn't a naive dream. It could be a powerful force for change. If Canadians are to trust their government needs to trust Canadians. Those are the words of the Prime Minister in 2015. These people, very often misogynistic, racist, women haters, science deniers, the fringe. Same Prime Minister 6 years later as he fans the flames of an unjustified national emergency. So, Mr. Speaker, when did the Prime Minister lose his way? When did it happen?
Anyone else like this young member of the House of Commons up there, this young conservative?
She's on fire.
Yeah, Chris, what do you make of this protest today? They're going to, I mean, we've heard things like freezing bank accounts. There's been a lot of doxing for people that have donated money. Ilhan Omar calling that out of all people, and then Ted Cruz agreeing with Ilhan Omar and then retweeting her. Why is Justin Trudeau just so wrong on this? He cannot get this right.
You know, for me, it's been startling watching this. You know, a lot of times we think Canada is just America of the North. They're a democracy just like we are. And to just see Justin Trudeau's heavy-handed tactics of freezing bank accounts and having people arrested is just startling. And I'm glad to see this young conservative, what she was saying on the floor speech there. And it looks like she and others there in the Conservative Party smell blood in the water.
All right, panel, we'll leave it there. We'll pick it back up in just a little bit. Allison Maloney, Benjamin Weingarten, Christopher Arps, thanks so much.